Welcome to Zavia Weight Loss and Med Spa. You know that feeling when you catch a reflection and the person looking back at you seems, I don't know, tired, stressed, maybe even a little angry? And you're thinking, that's not how I feel at all. Those lines, they've been forming for years, from every single squint, every concentrated frown, every laugh. And now, they're starting to tell a story about you that just isn't true anymore.
Oh, that disconnect is so real. And honestly, it's exactly what brings a lot of people to us. Today, we're talking about BOTOX. That's onabotulinum toxin A. It's an FDA-approved neurotoxin that very precisely targets the specific muscles that are creating those expression lines.
And what's really remarkable is that this isn't some new, untested thing. This is one of the most extensively studied aesthetic treatments in all of medicine. We're talking more than 22 years of clinical use.
And on top of that, it's supported by over 600 peer-reviewed publications. So the science and the safety profile, they're incredibly well established. Okay, let's dive into how this all actually works.
So let's talk about what's really happening in your face. You have these specific muscles, like the frontalis across your forehead, the corrugator supercilii between your brows, and the orbicularis oculi that circles your eyes. I know, those are a mouthful. But what you need to know is that these muscles contract thousands of times every single day. Every time you raise your eyebrows, squint at your phone, concentrate on work, those contractions are deepening the creases in your skin. Exactly. And over time, those lines that only showed up when you moved your face, we call those dynamic wrinkles, they can start to stick around even when your face is completely at rest. And those become static wrinkles. And very excitingly, there's a newly FDA-approved treatment area as of October 2024, the platysma. Those are the broad muscle bands in your neck that can become more noticeable as we age.
Okay, so the way this works is it's beautifully precise. BOTOX works at something called the neuromuscular junction. That's the exact point where a nerve communicates with a muscle fiber. Think of it like a lock and key. The molecule is designed to lock onto very specific docking sites on that nerve ending. That high-level selectivity is why the effects stay exactly where they're needed.
So it's not just flooding an area, it's incredibly targeted. What happens after it binds?
Right, so once it's bound, it gets taken inside the nerve terminal. And this is where the core mechanism happens. An active component is released, and it very specifically cleaves a protein called SNAP25, which is part of a little protein team called the snare complex.
And the snare complex, that's the machinery the nerve uses to release acetylcholine, the chemical messenger that actually tells the muscle to contract, right?
You got it, exactly. By taking SNAP25 out of commission, BOTOX basically prevents that signal, acetylcholine, from being released. No signal means the muscle fiber doesn't get the message to contract.
And the result is beautifully simple. The muscle just relaxes, and that dynamic wrinkle it was creating starts to soften. It's an elegant interruption of a signal, not a permanent change to the muscle itself. And that brings up a huge point. It's completely reversible. Over the course of about 3 to 4 months, your body naturally regenerates those connections, and the muscle gradually goes back to doing its thing. That's why treatments are typically scheduled a few times a year. Nothing is permanently altered. Okay, so let's walk through what you can expect after a treatment. The session itself is pretty quick, usually just 15 to 30 minutes. But the results, they build over time in a really predictable and fascinating way. In the first few days, what we call the opening, you might start to feel the muscles are a little less active. By day 3 to 5, you'll often see that initial smoothing, especially in the frown lines between the brows.
Then you enter building momentum from days 7 to 14. This is when the results become much more obvious to you and others. The peak effect, when everything has really settled in, usually happens right around day 14.
And finally, the crescendo, which is from week 4 all the way to week 16. This is when you're just enjoying the full settled results, which for most people last about 3 to 4 months. Okay, great question. What can someone do alongside their BOTOX treatment to really get the most from their results and maybe even make them last longer? I love this question. One thing with actual clinical evidence behind it is zinc supplementation. A study in the Journal of Drugs and Dermatology found that for some patients, taking a specific zinc supplement for 4 days before treatment could extend the results by up to 30%. Of course, your Zvia provider can advise if that's appropriate for you. And then there are the fundamentals. Sun protection is absolutely non-negotiable. An SPF of 30 or higher every single day protects the collagen you have. And quality sleep, getting 7 to 9 hours, is when your skin does its biological repair work. These aren't requirements, they're just smart ways to protect your investment. Now, this is so important. The provider's expertise is just as critical as the product itself. Let's talk about what that looks like at Zvia. Because for us, every single treatment is customized. For the upper face, a really effective approach is what's called the look of 3. This treats the forehead lines, the frown lines, and the crow's feet all together. Using standard dosing, that's about 64 units total. And treating them in concert like this creates a really harmonious, naturally refreshed look. It avoids that unbalanced appearance that can happen when you only treat one area in isolation. And for the neck, the new data is just incredible. In the clinical trials, 65% of patients reported being very satisfied with their results. Compare that to just 12% in the placebo group. That really shows you the kind of impact this can have. And this is the bottom line. The vial of BOTOX is the same product no matter where you go. The true differentiator is the provider. A precision approach means your provider evaluates your entire dynamic system, how your muscles work together and in opposition to each other. It means customizing units and placement down to the millimeter based on your unique anatomy and goals. That's what makes all the difference. Exactly. That's the kind of precision that comes from genuine expertise and spending real clinical time with each person. It's never a one-size-fits-all template. That expertise is your assurance of a natural, balanced result that looks and feels like you. So if what we've been talking about sounds familiar, if your face is telling a story that doesn't match how you actually feel inside, your Zvia team is here to help you close that gap. This is about your confidence, your comfort in your own skin, and building a partnership with people who genuinely care about getting you there. We'd love to talk with you. Visit us at www.zvia.com, that's zvia.com, or you can give us a call at 303-902-5353. Schedule your consultation with the Zvia team today. And please remember, this is all for educational information. During your consultation, your Zvia provider will take the time to really understand your goals and your medical history to determine if BOTOX is the right and safe choice for you.